Landover, MD, October 21. Defensive end Demarcus Lawrence. Photo by Patrick McDermott, Getty Images. Last year, the Dallas Cowboys had a really good pass rush, but it won't stay that way if they don't continually add new parts to keep their engine running. They seem to understand this, as they've been in deep talks with the Miami Dolphins trying to figure out a trade for defensive end Robert Quinn. Even if they add Quinn, there are issues to address for America's team. One of those is the looming contract dispute with Demarcus Lawrence. Currently held in Dallas by the franchise tag, Lawrence is in need of a new contract, and the team seems hesitant to cave on his demands. They also need to try and fill a hole left by David Irving, who was barely present in 2018. Irving was a great interior pass rusher but never was dependable. Dallas' defensive line thrives when a 3 technique can create pressure, so adding someone there would be huge. It also won't be easy considering their limited cap space. The front office understands as much, with Vice President Stephen Jones saying they need to get super creative to fill their holes. Where it starts to be a logjam is when you look, we've never paid our linebackers a lot of money, and we've got two, I think, rare ones in Jalen and Leighton, Jones says via Albert Breer of C.com. That'll be where the logjam starts, when you figure out how to pay the pass rusher, the corners, the receiver, the quarterback, the running back, across the board on the offensive line, and then try to pay a couple linebackers. That's when you start to have to get super creative, and if you go out and do a deal right now that's not efficient, you're starting to take some creative money away that hopefully is going to help you keep Jalen, hopefully help you keep both corners. We'll just have to see. Here, we use the approach Jones mentions and try to think outside the box to address the Cowboys' need for more pass rushers. Next, look to an old friend, page 2ARLINGTONTX, November 19. Benson Mayowa. Photo by Ronald Martinez, Getty Images. The need for pass rush help isn't new in Big D, as they have been trying for years to get things solved, especially on the right side of the defensive line. They've used some decent draft stock there as well, spending a second-round pick in 2015 on Randy Gregory, who is now suspended indefinitely, and a first-round pick in 2017 on Taco Charlton. More from NFL Spin Zone. Gregory at least showed potential but can't stay eligible to play. As for Charlton, he's bordering on getting the dreaded bust label slapped on him, considering he has just 46 tackles and 4 sacks in his 2 seasons in the NFL. He was also a healthy scratch for a couple of games last season, which showed he's losing favor with the staff. In between those 2 draft picks, Dallas tried to find a diamond in the rough at defensive end in Benson Mayowa. The former Oakland Raiders backup was signed to a 3-year deal and surprised in his first season with the team. The little-known Mayowa recorded 25 tackles and 6 sacks for the boys that season, despite starting just 6 of 13 games played. .2017 wasn't as strong of a season for Mayowa. That year, he was credited with 21 tackles and had just 1 sack. Shortly after the season ended, he was released and signed with the Arizona Cardinals in 2018. Mayowa played in 15 games for the Cards and had 38 tackles and 4 sacks. He's again a free agent, and at just 27 years old, he could still have plenty in the tank. He also wouldn't break the bank, which is something that should entice this front office. Next, trade for someone on the outs. Page 3CLEVELANDO, October 8, Emmanuel Ogbah. Photo by Jason Miller, Getty Images. The New England Patriots were stripped of their first-round pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, which led to there being just 31 selections in the opening round that year. Due to that fact, the Cleveland Browns kicked off the second round with the No. 32 pick, which is normally the final pick on day 1. They used that selection on Oklahoma State defensive end Emmanuel Ogbah. While he landed with the Browns, the 6'4", 275-pound Ogbah had drawn interest from the Cowboys during the pre-draft process. Now, there are reports that he could be on the move and Dallas should once again be interested. In his 3 seasons with Cleveland, Ogbah has been a solid, but underrated player. He recorded 5.5 sacks as a rookie and then added 4 more in 2017 despite missing 6 games. Then in 2018, his sacks numbers took a dip as he registered just 3 on the season, but he still proved to be strong against the run. He was also exceptional at swatting passes at the line of scrimmage, doing so 8 times in 14 starts. Even though he has been a good player, the Browns are ready to move on. Ogbah is entering the final year of his contract and is slated to be a reserve behind Myles Garrett and the newly acquired Olivier Vernon. For Dallas, making this move would be smart. Not only would Ogbah be affordable in both trade price and in terms of his cap number, but he would also be highly motivated. With his contract coming up following the season, he could find the motivation to have his best season as a pro. Then, Dallas would hold the cards as to whether they wanted to extend him or allow him to walk. If he did walk, they could land a compensatory pick helping to recoup some of the cost to acquire him. Next, take another gamble. Page 4 photo by Gregory Seamus, Getty Images. One thing Dallas has seemed to do this offseason is look at players who they can get for a bargain. They looked at Eric Berry, who is coming off 2 injury-plagued seasons at safety. They also kicked the tires on defensive tackle Malik McDowell, who has never played a down after a TV injury derailed his career with the Seattle Seahawks. They also went after Randall Cobb, who missed time with injuries in 2018. Cobb ended up signing, whereas the other 2 players are still options but nothing seems imminent. Sticking with the risky players, the final option here is to bring in Ezekiel Ansah. Chosen by the Detroit Lions at number 5 overall in 2013 out of BYU, Ansah came into the NFL looking like a stud. He had 8 sacks as a rookie and 7.5 the following season before breaking out in 2015 with 14.5 sacks. Then, the injuries started to come into play. Ansah played in 13 games in 2016 but was hampered with nagging issues all season and had just 2 sacks. Bounced back in 2017 just in time to hit the open market, but the Lions franchise tagged him for the season. They were wary of a long-term deal due to the health concerns and it proved to be wise. Shoulder problems limited Ansah to just 7 games in 2018, which is why he's still waiting for his next home. Like Ogbah, Ansah could be a player to bring in as he's motivated to prove he deserves a huge deal next offseason. Next, Cowboys 7-round 2019 mock draft. Of course, the one thing to do in order to fix their pass rush is to fix the issue with Demarcus Lawrence. However, these 3 options could take place in addition to that and give the Cowboys a much better defensive line in 2019. Page 5 Use your arrows to browse. In the 2017 NFL Draft, 3 tight ends were taken in the first round, an unprecedented number, but given the shift in the league, tight ends have been selected as mismatched wide receivers than inline blockers. O.J. Howard, Evan Engram and David Njoku were all selected to become big playmakers for their respective teams. While none of them have lived up to their draft hype, tight ends tend to have a steeper learning curve and do not seem to break through the glass ceiling as quickly as others. In 2019, look out for Howard, Engram, and Njoku to blow up the NFL landscape and jump onto the scene. The spread offense is beginning to infect NFL offenses, and as a result tight ends are being deployed as matchup nightmares for linebackers and safeties, and as the NFL continues its shift towards a heavy aerial assault, the tight end position will continue to get more and more valuable. It would not be a shock to see all 3 of the tight ends selected in the first round of the 2017 draft go over 1,000 yards receiving and border on double-digit touchdowns this season. If you are a player of fantasy football, these 3 tight ends will pay big dividends in 2019. Use your arrows to browse.